Good afternoon, dear students. Um, Myself, Alisha Ranson. I am handling the subject wireless communication. Okay. Today we are going to start our first unit, that is wireless channel. The first unit we are going to the wireless communication. We are going to study about various things related to transmission as well as reception. Okay. We know it's related to the communication, right? Wireless communication from one point to another point. So in this the first unit is the wireless channel. Under that we are going to study about large scale path loss model, free space model, two-ray model, link budget design, small scale fading, parameters of mobile multipath channel, time dispersion parameter, and the time under the time dispersion parameter we are going to study about coherence bandwidth, Doppler spread and coherence time, then fading due to multipath time delay, under that flat fading and frequency selective fading, and the fading due to Doppler spread, under that fast and slow fading. These are the things we are going to study in this first unit of the wireless communication. Okay, that is wireless channel. Okay, so so we can start with the first topic, just in introduction. So here in this introduction we know the transmitting path. Okay, if there is a transmitter and receiver, the distance between the transmitter and receiver will vary. Okay, the transmitter transmits the signal and the receiver receives the signal. Okay, it goes through various paths. Sometimes there will be a direct path. If there is no obstacles, any objects in between this transmitter and receiver, we get a clear path from transmitter to receiver. That path is called line of sight path. Okay, that is, if line of sight, direct path from transmitter to receiver without any obstacle, we can say it is line of sight path. Okay, that is, the transmission path between the transmitter and the receiver can vary from simple line of sight to that one is severely obstructed by building, mountains and foliage. Okay, if there is a transmitter and receiver and it is separated by a distance d, and if there is no obstacles in between that, we can say it is a direct path, that is the line of sight path. Okay, and suppose the communication takes place with long distance, right? So there will be various obstacles while we transmit the signal from to a long distance, such as buildings, mountains, foliage, etc. So in that time the line of sight will be not available, so at that time it will undergo various problems. Okay, various problems, that is signal fading, reduction in the signal strength, like that there will be various problems. So in that there will be various things we have to consider. Okay, so in that the main there will be various factors that will affect the signal strength. Okay, that is like obstacles and something like that. So in that it is divided into many things. So here in this we are going to study about reflection, diffraction and scattering. We already studied about this reflection, diffraction and scattering. Okay, so let's see about that. This first one is reflection. Okay, so if it occurs when a propagating electromagnetic wave impinges upon an object which has very large dimension when compared to the wavelength of the propagating wave. Okay, that is, here the only one thing, the length of the object is large comparing to the wavelength. Okay, so when the reflection occurs, so when that is if it is when an electromagnetic wave encounters an obstacle and bounces back towards the source, that causes the loss of the signal. Okay, that is the communication, that is we know when we are using mobile hotspot and all inside a room or between two rooms, the wall, between two rooms, we can say it is an obstacle. That is, so when we start a communication, that is when the transmitter antenna transmit the signal, it will reach the surface of the wall, right? After that, some of the wave will reflect back to the transmitter, and it will goes to the various reflection from one wall to another wall, and then reach the receiving point, like that. That is the reflection. Okay, if the wave impinges on an object with very large dimension when compared to the wavelength of the propagating wave, that is the reflection. Okay, I think you understand that concept reflection. That is, the wave will travels from by touching the surface, large surface, then going back to its destination or the receiver terminal. That is the reflection. Okay, the next one, diffraction. Okay, diffraction, it occurs when the ray it, it occurs when the radio path between the transmitter and receiver is obstructed by a surface that have sharp edges. That is the diffraction. Okay, so that is we know there is transmitter and receiver, in between that where there is many obstacle. Okay, if the wave touches on the large surface, means it is a reflection. In this diffraction cases, if the wave touches the sharp edges, we can say it is a traffic signal. Okay, the signal board. Okay, signboards. We can say there, if the signal touches the signboards and all, there after touching that, it splits into several secondary waves. Okay, after touching that sharp edges, it split into secondary waves. Okay, so it bent towards the obstacles, and okay, after this wave will bend towards the obstacles. Mainly it happens through when the surface they have sharp edges. When it touches this sharp edges, it split into secondary waves. That is, it will produce secondary waves, and this secondary waves starts to reach the receiver. Okay, this is the diffraction. That is, it occurs when the radio path between the transmitter and the receiver is obstructed by a surface that have sharp edges. And the last thing we have to study is scattering. Okay, so in the scattering, we can say that just the wave, that is the transmitting wave, reaches an object with a rough dimension. Okay, rough dimension, and it's splitting into many waves. Okay, that is, it will generate multiple signals. Okay, here the signal loss is very high. Okay, it occurs when the medium through which the wave travel consists of an object with dimension that are small compared to wavelengths. Okay, dimension is small when we compare it to the wavelength. In the case of reflection, the dimension is large comparing to wavelength. When it goes on to the scattering, we can say the dimension is small comparing to wavelength. Okay, here the main thing is, in the scattering, the number of obstacles per volume is very large. Okay, so we can, the examples of scattering is, we can say plant leaves. Suppose if the wave reaches on this tree, that is, if we can say it is a rough surface, right? So the wave will scatter into multiple signals. So the example is plant leaf, dust, smoke, drops of water. These all cause the scattering of the signal. Okay, so next we are going to see about the propagation models. Okay, propagation models. Okay, we know this propagation model. In this propagation model, we know just there is a transmitter and receiving antenna. In communication, there must be a transmitting antenna and a receiving antenna. And what about the concept in this transmitting and receiving antenna? Transmitting antenna transmit a signal, that is a power, okay, transmit the power, and the receiving antenna receives this power, okay. So that we can say it is a signal strength. It just in the propagation model, it just predict the signal strength at a given distance from the transmitter. It just predict the whatever the signal strength is there, it will predict the signal strength. So this propagation models is divided into two types, that is large scale propagation and small scale propagation, okay. Large scale propagation and small scale propagation, it is nothing but in the large scale propagation, the distance between the transmitting antenna as well as the receiving antenna is large comparing to the small scale propagation, okay. That is a long distance communication, okay. So at this time also, if we are getting the average signal strength, we can say it as a large scale path loss model, okay. That is the large scale propagation model or path loss model. If the distance between the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna is very small comparing to this, then we can say it is a small scale propagation model, okay. So in the large scale propagation model, that has traditionally focused on predicting the average signal strength at a given distance from the transmitter, okay. So it predicts the mean signal strength for an arbitrary transmitter receiver separation distance, and are useful in estimating the radio coverage of the transmitter and receiver, called large scale propagation. Just it is used to predict the signal strength, whether we are getting a very good signal or a very bad signal in the communication purpose, mobile communication or whatever communication is there, just to estimate the coverage area of the transmitter, okay. So this is the large scale propagation model, since they characterize the signal strength over large transmitter receiver separation distance, okay. Hope you all understand the concept of large scale path loss or propagation model, that is between the transmitter and receiver, and if it is separating by a long distance and if they are getting the average signals, means that is the large scale propagation model. And if we are using small distance, that is the distance between the transmitter and receiver is very small, we can say it as a small scale propagation model, okay. So under this large scale propagation model, there are various models. We are going to we are going to study about two types of model: free space propagation model as well as two-ray ground reflection model. These two questions are important today. Now we are going to see about free space propagation model, okay. In the free space propagation model, okay, this I already tell you about the line of sight path. What is the line of sight path? If the transmitter and receiver have a clear path in between that without any obstacles, then we can say it as a line of sight path. So this free space propagation model, otherwise the other name, it is also called as Friis free space equation, okay. It is also called as Friis free space equation, okay. So that is the other name of free space propagation model or Friis free space equation, okay. So if there is a clear line of sight path between transmitter and receiver, then we can use this free space propagation model, okay. That is, there will be no obstacle in between and we get the full transmitted power at the receiver, okay. Whatever the signal is transmitting, we are getting into the receiver. Here the signal strength is very high, that is the transmitter. We know the transmitter, if there is a line of sight without any obstacles, means whatever the signals we are transmitting, it is getting at the receiver side, right? So here if there is a good it is used to predict the received signal strength when the transmitter and receiver have a clear unobstructed line of path between them, okay. So the free space power power received by a receiver antenna, which is separated from a radiating transmitting antenna by a distance d. Okay, so here in this free space propagation model, we are just finding the received power. Okay, in everything we are finding the received power. Okay, we know about the transmitting signal, so we need to calculate the received power. Okay, so if two antennas are there, A and B are the two antennas which is separating by a distance d. Okay, here in this separating by a distance d or r. Okay, capital R is also denoted the distance between the two antenna here. Okay, so the first free space equation is given by PR by PT is equal to GT GR lambda square by 4 pi R the whole square. Okay, this is the first free space equation. From this we can calculate if we know the power of the transmitting antenna, gain of the transmitting antenna, receiving antenna, wavelength and the distance between the antenna, we can able to calculate the power at the receiving antenna. Here PR is the receiving antenna power. We can calculate from this equation. PT is, what about PR? PR is equal to PT GT GR lambda square by 4 by R the whole square. That is the equation for power at the receiving antenna. Here PT is the output power of the transmitting antenna, PR is the power at the receiving antenna, GT is the gain of the transmitting antenna, GR is the gain of the receiving antenna, lambda is the wavelength, and R is the distance between antenna. We can write this R or small d. Small d is also used to denote the distance between the antennas. So if there is a loss component L means that is, if the signal loss component L means in the line of sight path there will be a very low chance for the obstacle. So if there is something like that, we will introduce on factor, loss factor, which is denoted by capital L. Okay, so we can write PR is equal to PT GT GR lambda square by 4 pi R the whole square into L square, loss factor L. Okay, so this is the thing. Next we are going to see about the derivation of the Friis equation. Okay, let's see the derivation of this Friis equation. Okay, so here in this there will be a transmitting antenna, it will transmit the signal. Okay, so the isotropic power, one thing called isotropic power, that is the power in there is an antenna, isotropic antenna, which radiates power in all direction. Okay, equally in all direction, that is the isotropic antenna. Here there is a transmitting antenna, a receiving antenna, antenna aperture. What is antenna aperture? That is the minimum distance. Just note this point. Okay, just take down the notes while I am teaching. Antenna aperture on topic is there. What is the antenna aperture? That is a minimum distance. Okay, that is a minimum distance where we get the maximum radiation. Okay, maximum signal strength. Okay, that is the minimum distance where we get the maximum radiation. That is called aperture. Okay, so here in this, the power from the isotropic antenna falls off as R square. Okay, we can say capital R. Okay, so here in this, the power density. Okay, we are just calculating the power density rho. Okay, power density rho is equal to PT by 4 pi R square. Okay, that is the transmitting power at unit surface area. Okay, that is PT by 4 pi r square, that is the spherical surface area. Okay, power density rho is given by Pt divided by 4 pi r square, that is the surface area, transmitted power surface area. Power density rho is equal to Pt by 4 pi r square. Then using this, that is the power per transmit power per unit surface area, that is the power density. Rho is equal to power per unit surface area. Okay, so here the surface area is 4 pi r square. Okay, so we can write rho is equal to Pt by 4 pi r square. So in the both side of this equation we are multiplying with the gain. Okay, in this equation we are multiplying by the gain of the transmitting antenna. Cool. Gives a real antenna pattern, that is rho is equal to Pt by 4 pi r square into Gt. Okay, that is just we are using the transmitting power. Along with that we are just multiplying the gain of the transmitting antenna, that is represented as Gt. So rho is equal to Pt Gt by 4 pi r square. Okay, if the receiving antenna has an effective aperture of A effective, okay, the power received by this antenna is PR. Okay, if the receiving if the receiving antenna has an effective aperture A effective, what about the aperture? That is the minimum distance where we get the maximum radiation. Okay, so PR we can write it as PR is equal to rho into effective A effective. Okay, so the what about the value for rho? PR is equal to Pt Gt by 4 pi r square into A effective. So here in this the effective aperture of antenna is equal to lambda square by 4 pi into G. Okay, lambda square by 4 pi into G. Okay, so the received power we can write it as PR is equal to Pt. Here the in the effective aperture A is equal to lambda square by 4 pi into G, that is the gain of the receiving antenna. So we can write the received power, that is we have to substitute the value of AE in PR, that is AE is equal to A effective. Okay, so the received power PR is equal to Pt Gt Gr lambda square by 4 pi r the whole square, that is the received power. Okay, so an isotropic radiator is an ideal antenna which radiates power with unit gain uniformly in all direction, and it is often used to used as a reference antenna gain in the wireless system. Okay, so here in this the effective isotropic radiated power. Okay, what is the effective isotropic radiated power? That is the maximum power transmitted by the transmitting antenna. So that is also denoted as EIRP, effective isotropic radiated power, that is equal to Pt into Gt. Okay, what about Pt? It is the transmitting power, and Gt, that is the receiving power. So here in this we are just calculating the path loss. Path loss is the difference between the effective transmitted power, okay, effective transmitted power and the received power. It is denoted by PL of dB, that is equal to 10 log Pt by PR. We know the value of Pt by PR, just substituting it we can get the equation as we get the equation minus 10 log lambda square by 4 pi d the whole square. Okay, this is the equation for path laws. Okay, PL in dB. That is, if we consider GT and GR as one, gain of the transmitting antenna as well as the receiving antenna, we are just considering it as 1. Okay. Next, that is the power of the free space model. That is the Friis equation. Okay, PR is equal to PT GT GR lambda square by 4 pi r the whole square. Then the next topic, the Fraunhofer region. Okay, the Fraunhofer region, it is the region, okay, it is the region of the Fraunhofer region as defined as the region beyond the far field distance DF, which is related to the largest linear dimension of the transmitter, antenna, aperture and carrier wavelength. Okay, so this line of path we can apply only if there is a minimum distance, okay, far field distance or a Fraunhofer region. Okay, the far field distance or a Fraunhofer region of the transmitting antenna is defined as the region beyond the far field distance DF, which is related to the largest linear dimension of the transmitter, antenna, aperture and carrier wavelength. This is an important 2-mark question. Okay, they will ask you to calculate the Fraunhofer distance value. Here the Fraunhofer distance is given as DF is equal to 2D square by lambda. Okay, D is the largest physical linear dimension of the antenna, and this Fraunhofer distance is greater than D. Okay, and also greater than the wavelength value. Okay, next this the reference power P naught is equal to PT GT GR lambda square by 4 pi the whole square. So the reference at the reference point the received power PR is equal to P naught by D square. Normally the transmitting antenna and the receiving antenna is separated by the distance D, right? So if D is large in the equation, if D is large, what happens to the received power? The received power strength will reduce, right? So the D value must be if it is small means the signal is if we just compare with a mobile, if we place two mobiles nearby, what about the signal strength? It will hotspot signal strength, it is very good. Suppose if we are using one mobile in one building and another mobile in another building, and if we are connecting it through hotspot, what about the signal strength? It will weak, right? That is, the signal will reduce, signal strength will reduce. That is the concept here. Okay, so if the distance between the transmitting antenna as well as the receiving antenna is very large, means the signal strength will reduce, and if it is a small distance means the signal strength is very high. Okay, in decibels we can write it as 10 log PR is equal to 10 log P naught minus 20 log D. Okay, and the received power in free space at a distance D is greater than D naught, that is PR of D is equal to PR of D naught into D naught by D the whole square. This is a free space model, and this you just concentrate on. Okay, just concentrate on the Fraunhofer distance df is equal to 2d square by lambda. Okay, just the equation is very important, 2-mark question. Okay, just concentrate on this Fraunhofer region distance. Okay, also you have to study the derivation for free space propagation model. The derivation to find received power PR is equal to PT GT GR lambda square by 4 pi r the whole square. That is also important. Okay, so what is large scale propagation model? What about the large scale propagation model? It is the distance, if the distance between the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna is very large, What about the signal strength we are getting? That is the large scale model, and small scale means it is the smallest distance between the transmitting antenna and receiving antenna. In the small scale propagation model, the signal strength is very effective comparing to the large one, because as we are going towards long distance communication, there will be various obstacles such as buildings, walls, mountains, trees, such that. So the effective communication is effective communication is a small scale communication. Okay, but now we need the long distance communication. We have to transmit data over large distance. So various techniques are there just to overcome the signal strength, increase the signal strength. Okay, that you will study it in the second unit. Now today just go through this topic. In the next hour you have to write this as an assignment and submit it. Okay.